Welcome to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I'm your host, Jeannie Hall, and I'm pursuing my dreams by helping you make your dreams a reality. I'm an author, blogger, podcaster, and life coach who hopes to inspire you to feel better, live happier, and go after your dreams with a vengeance. You can do it. Join me. Hello, and welcome to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I'm Jeannie Hall, your host, and today's episode is episode 14, Tenacity equals repetition. So achieving any success comes from making goals. And all of us have different kinds of goals. Today I'm going to recommend to you what kind of goals you should have. Because if we want to keep those goals, one, we're going to have to be tenacious. We're going to have to be basically what I grew up in Arkansas calling stubborn. You got to be stubborn about things and go forward and just not give up on it. And part of being stubborn is being willing to repeat what you're doing. And that's why repetition is so important. We have to choose over and over and over again to make the decision to keep following our dreams instead of giving up, because it's so easy to give up, guys. When you're having a hard time and you're running into obstacles left, right, and center, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, even though you do want your dreams to come true, even though you do want to follow your dreams and you have this wonderful idea in your head that you really want to see come to fruition, we're going to run into things, though. We're going to run into obstacles on that path. And you just have to be willing to say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to keep going even though I keep running into obstacles. I'm going to be stubborn about this. I'm going to pursue this dream. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to do it. And it's about committing and just being tenacious. Be a dog with a bone. Rawr, don't let it go. Keep going. Because the people who succeed in life, all those millionaires that you hear about, all those massive successes, they are tenacious. They are not willing to give up on it no matter what comes along. So if you do that too, you can be just as successful. So it's to me personally, and this is from a lot of different mentors and coaches and personal development people, and in all different walks of life, you'll hear this from people who are successes. Basically, it takes a lot of little steps to get to your goals. So you can have a huge, amazing goal, a huge, amazing dream that right now might feel impossible. But if you're willing to pursue it and go after it, you can totally get it. And one of the best ways to do that, one way to make the impossible much more possible, is by breaking that down into little, easy to follow steps so that you don't get overwhelmed. So let's say, okay, you have a goal, and let's say it's a weight goal. Let's say that you're overweight and you want to lose 20 pounds. So what you'll need to do is you're going to break that down into steps. Because if you do what I used to do, whenever I first started trying to diet, I would do these crazy, stupid crash diets, like nothing but lettuce all day, and then I'd exercise for an hour, and then I'd almost pass out because I hadn't had any normal food. It was crazy. It's not going to work. You can't maintain something like that for very long, and it's just not healthy either. So obviously you don't want to do something like that. You're never going to be able to keep that up. What you want to do is keep something up that you can maintain. So you're going to have to eat food. You want to eat food. It's just going to be being aware of what you're eating. So you want to be aware of your activity. So whatever you're doing for exercise, and you want to be aware of what it is you're eating and how much. And me personally, the way I've lost my weight is that when I first started out, I really didn't exercise much. I was so overweight that I didn't feel good physically. So for me, I didn't really start any kind of real exercise regimen until I was about 20 pounds down personally. I'm down 43 now. So when I got to about 20 pounds, I noticed I wanted to exercise. I was like twitchy and hyper and like, I want to get up and move, And in that time period, which was a few months, where I was losing the 20 pounds, there were times that I would like be more active and energetic. So I might like dance around and be silly for a while, or I'd have a really good song and I'd dance around my house being a goofball. There might be times that I did that, but I didn't do anything consistently until I got about 20 pounds down. Now that's just me personally. It just depends on where you are. You may not be so heavy that physical exercise is strenuous or painful to you, but if you're overweight in a significant way and you're trying to get this started, at first it may just be about the diet, because that's, which again, when I say diet, I don't mean like a specific diet that you can only eat these foods and this isn't allowed and da da da. I mean just what you're eating, just your meal plan. That's all I'm talking about. And for me personally, I don't tell myself that I can't have anything. For me, what worked was allowing myself to have chocolate, allowing myself to have my go-to foods are mostly carbs, which is exactly not what I need to be eating. So what I had to do is just really limit those and be aware of what I was eating. So for me, I would just pick my favorite foods and I would just have less of the carbs, more of the protein foods, and more of some dairy, lots more vegetables, and that kind of thing. And if I was having a carb, I would try and choose a healthier carb, like a complex carbohydrate, or something like a banana or fruit that I love because I love fruit so much. I would pick something like that rather than a bag of Cheetos, for example, which is basically no nutritional value in junk food. So I would do that. So if you're trying to make a change, any change in the right direction is great. So that's what I mean by small steps. So again, be aware of what you're eating and be aware of how much. That's where I do count carbs personally, and I was told by my dietitian that that I could have 45 carbs per meal and 3 meals a day, plus 2 15 or 20 carb snacks. And if you've never looked at like a nutritional label, you may have no idea what any of that means. But if you want to do this for real and you really want to lose some weight, one way you can do that is by, when you go grocery shopping, just pay a lot of attention to the label and just look at the serving size, make sure, because that matters, because sometimes it'll say this many carbs, but the serving size is like a teaspoon. It's tiny or something, so you got to be careful. But sometimes there's especially dark chocolate candy bars, that sometimes the whole bar is 15 carbs or something, especially if it's the extra special dark chocolate or something like that, a little higher end chocolate bars. But so I will use those as snacks, or half of one as a snack or whatever, so that I can still have chocolate. I'm a chocolate girl. I love that. But so that might be something that I would choose. And everybody has their special foods that they love. And if it is Cheetos, that's fine. You'll just have to keep them in mind. It'll have to be a lesser amount and stick to that. And then don't beat yourself up if you fall off the wagon, because that happens too. If you fall off the wagon one day, this is what's really important. This is where that tenacious stubbornness comes in. If you do fall off the wagon and you just go all out crazy and end up stuffed and miserable at the end of the night, which is what my downfall was, night eating a lot. I would eat a lot at night. I do pretty good during the day most of the time, especially if I was at work, because I was too busy to think about food so much. But at night, I'd come home and just gorge right before bed and go to bed miserable and stuffed and bloated and miserable. So yeah, if you can relate, raise your hand, right? Yeah. So if that is you, the night is when you're going to have to be the most aware of what you're doing and what you're eating, and really pay attention to how your body responds to what you eat. If you I think that's where a lot of us get into trouble, because we're using food, those of us who have weight issues, we use food as a buffer against feeling things that we don't want to feel. And so if we're stressed or we're upset or even boredom sometimes. I'm not bored very much because I'm a writer and I don't have time to be bored. I got too much going on in my head. But a lot of people do get bored and they'll just eat out of boredom. So but if you're an emotional eater and you're a stress eater and stuff like that, it's super easy to just drown that. It's like, hey, I've worked hard all day. I've earned this. I remember I didn't consciously think that, but I totally did think that on an unconscious level that I've deserved it. Damn it. I've been working my ass off all day long and I'm going to go eat whatever I want. And I'm going to have 2 helpings and I'm going to have dessert too. I would see it as like a reward for what I had done. And that's not... What I ended up doing is just, putting on a lot of weight that I didn't need and was really bad for me and led to high blood pressure and diabetes. So I don't recommend that if you can avoid it. So if you're already in that boat or if you're heading that direction, you can stop it. You just got to be aware of what you're doing. And it doesn't have to change your diet drastically. It's just a matter of being conscious of what your body really needs and what your body really wants. Because if you pay attention, you'll realize when you're full and you'll stop. You go, you know what? I'm full. Or maybe you'll choose to have something else. I love the sugar-free popsicles. They're like 4 carbs a pop. And it's something, I like to take my time with it and eat it slow. You can have a couple of those even. And then you're still getting your dessert. If you're someone who feels like, no, I need my dessert, okay, have some dessert. Just make sure it's a lower carb version of your dessert and then take your time with it. You can totally do this with, again, those little small baby steps. It doesn't have to be some dramatic thing. In fact, it's better if it's not a big dramatic change because you're never going to stick with that. You're just not. And I certainly wouldn't. So I always recommend take those little baby steps, whether it's weight or anything else that you're doing. And like with the exercise. And so once I got 20 pounds down, I started walking a few times a week. And now I walk every single day at least... Unless I'm sick or something, I'll walk every single day 1.5 miles a day, and sometimes 2 miles. And I'm starting to get to where I want to increase that to even more because I feel so good after I walk. And I just walk, and sometimes I race walk, but I don't. I'm not like running full tilt and sweaty and my back's killing me and, none of that. I'm just doing what feels good. I don't do any exercise that doesn't feel good. So maybe you're someone who's been overweight for a really long time and exercise is painful to you. When you think of the word exercise, you go, and you think pain. And that may be true for you. If you start to exercise. One thing you can do, no matter what shape you're in, as long as you have the ability, you can usually do some kind of exercise even from a seated position. So even doing like leg lifts where you lift your legs straight up in front of you, you can do that from your couch or your recliner or wherever you are. Even your bed, you can lift your legs straight in the air. There's all sorts of things you can do. And even if you start out with just doing 10, and if 10 hurts, just do 5. Okay? Just get started with it. And any motion is better than no motion. So you can totally do that. Just make the choice that you're going to commit and be stubborn about it and do at least 5 leg lifts a day or whatever exercise you choose. And that way you'll get started. And the more you do it, the more it'll become a habit and the more you'll feel better. I like to actually go and exercise when I get hungry. Sometimes I'll be kind of hungry at work, but instead of eating, I'll go ahead and do my walk instead. I like to walk on my lunch break a lot, and I'll do the walk and then I'll eat after. So that's something you can do too. And it's amazing how when I do my walk, if I commit to that and I do my walk, then usually a lot of the times my hunger goes away. And then whenever I do eat after, I don't eat as much. So that's just a little thing that I do that has helped me. So if it helps you, wonderful. But with any goal, it's really important to keep that goal front and center at all times in your daily life. You got to remind yourself of what your goal is, what's important. So if you want to, let's say you want to start a business, you'll need to have several small goals of what you're working on. You can have small goals that you work on in a day or small goals for your week or whatever, but it's important every day to have something small, some small goal that you can accomplish in a day. Don't go too big, but something you can definitely do in a day and do it. And the first time you do it, you'll feel great. Getting those results and finishing something and it gives you this wonderful sense of accomplishment, and that gets really addictive. And it's a great thing to be addicted to because it can't hurt you. It's one of those things that's not going to put weight on. It's not going to cause a problem. So if you're getting a business going, you want to create goals for yourself that are realistic, do small goals, and then make sure that you complete it. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't do 10 goals a day if that's going to be too much. Just do one goal. Start out with one goal. Go do your goal, complete it, succeed at it, and then you'll go from there. So let's say you're an author. If you're an author, you probably already have like a word count or a page goal. Or maybe you choose one day of the week. Let's say you make a plan for the day or for the week. And let's say you do it for the week and you say, okay, this day I'm going to focus on all of my marketing and social media stuff, because it's really easy to get sucked into Facebook, and you start out creating a Facebook ad or something, and then you end up saying, oh, hi, I haven't seen you in a year. And you end up, or you get, hooked on looking at cute animals on Facebook, and you lose your whole day. So it's important to keep focused. But let's say you give yourself one whole day, or however long, maybe you want to do it by the hour or whatever, where it's going to be, I'm going to work on my marketing today, or I'm going to work on my social media today. Or maybe you'll have one day to create a blog. Or maybe you'll have one day to create a newsletter and send it out. Or maybe you're going to learn how to do some new skill. Maybe you've never sent a newsletter, or maybe you've never created a blog and you don't have a website. Maybe that'll be your goal for the day. Today I'm going to learn how to do a website. I'm going to watch YouTube videos until I figure out how to do a website. Whatever. Or maybe you'll contact someone and put those wheels in motion so that you know that you've accomplished. Like today, I'm going to call someone and I'm going to hire them to set up a website for me. Totally do that, or get quotes or whatever, make a plan. Even if it's something really small, go through with it. And then once you've done that, I can't even tell you how the relief and that great feeling that goes through you when you do something like that, because having that accomplishment makes all the difference. You already feel like a success just from that one small goal, and then just keep going. It's like a snowball effect. The more you do it, the more you achieve, the more you accomplish, the better you feel. It's just amazing. So please do that. And then let's say you're, again, with the author, if, you might have 2 days that you're rough drafting whatever you're writing, or you're planning it, or you're brainstorming it, or whatever, and then you do one day to edit. Or maybe you do a little bit of all those things I just mentioned every day. Maybe you start your day, it's like, okay, this morning I'm going to do my editing piece, or this morning I'm going to write my blog, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. But you give yourself specific time periods to follow so that because it's so easy to have whole days go by and you don't accomplish anything, and then you start feeling lost, and then you start feeling overwhelmed, and then you start feeling like, oh, I can't do it. Yes, you can. Of course you can. You're amazing. You can do anything you want. All of us can. Okay, it's just about your mindset. You just have to be stubborn and committed and make a decision and say, damn it, I'm doing it, and I'm doing it today. And just go do it, baby. Go do it. Okay? Now, by taking these small, really easy steps toward your goal, like I was talking about, it's going to be much less likely that thing that I just mentioned is going to happen, which is the whole overwhelm thing, and you give up. Okay? So many writers and authors have a hard time making progress because a lot of them say, I'm going to write this huge novel, and it's going to be the next breakout American novel, or whatever country you're from, and it's going to be a international bestseller, and I'm going to make $1 million, and I'm going to be Stephen King or J.K. Rowling or whoever. That's a great, great dream. But if you don't break that dream down into doable steps, into things that are possible and that you can see each day making progress on, then it's going to go nowhere because it's going to be too big to tackle. So you want to make it into kind of bite-sized pieces, things that you can do on a daily basis or even hourly basis that make sense that you can do. So maybe a writer has a goal of writing 75,000 to 100,000 word novel, but she's going to need to start with just having a writing goal for a day or for an hour even. Maybe you have a goal somewhere between a paragraph or 2,000 words. especially if you're beginning. If you've never written a novel before and it sounds easy, but you've never actually sat down and tried it, okay, start with the paragraph. Okay, you may even have to start with a sentence because there's more to it than that. So if it's your first writing project, start small and keep building. Okay, you'll get there. So if you're self-employed or you want to be, you'll need to have a plan of how your days are going to go. Like I said, schedule your time. Schedule your time for work, but also schedule like your lunch breaks, and know what you want to accomplish and be really specific in that, like I was mentioning before. And I got a lot of this from life coach Brooke Castillo, because she'll say to get up, get dressed, and follow a daily plan, just like if you were going to a day job. Because with the day job, we don't have a choice, right? We have to get up at a certain time. Most of us have early jobs to get to, so we'll have to set an alarm. We have to get up, get ready, get dressed, brush our teeth, brush our hair, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Get out the door, drive to work, and do the job. And what happens with a lot of us who try and go from something like that to an entrepreneurial or a self-employment type of situation is that we have all this freedom because we get to make the choice of our time. No one's yelling at us if we're late, right? Except for ourselves. So we have to be our own boss and say, no, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get dressed and I'm going to follow a routine. Or if you don't want to get dressed, like my whole website, obviously, is writing in your jammies. So if that's what you want to do, if you're an author and you just want to write in your jammies all day, cool. But get up, get your cute jammies on and go write. Have a good time. But make sure you have a plan for your day to break it down. Because once you get those habits and routines established, it's going to be automatic. It's like it's Monday, so I'm going to get up and I'm going to go sit at my laptop and I'm going to go write, or I'm going to go plan marketing, or I'm going to blog, or whatever it is you're going to do. And at a certain point, once you get comfortable with that routine and you get used to that routine, this is where things get really good, is that it'll start to feel doable. All the tasks that you're trying to complete will start to feel doable and easier, and then you'll be making progress. Okay, speaking of doable, I have now developed a special program for writers. Okay, since I'm a writer and author myself, as you know, if you've been listening to this for any time, I've written 6 books, 2 romantic thriller novels, and 4 self-help ebooks. So if you're a writer and you've lost your creative spark and you don't know how to get it back, I have a new 6-week program. It's called Rejuvenation for Writers. It's a life coaching program, and it's going to help you get to the root of whatever the problem is. So if you're having writing woes, what this course will do, it's going to break down what's causing your lack of inspiration. And once we've discovered your cause, we can then provide you with the solutions that are going to enable you to get your juices flowing again. Because once that happens, then you'll be able to make progress again. And then going from there, you'll have all the tools necessary to finish your novel or whatever writing project you have. And you can use those tools in all your future projects. So anytime your creativity goes by the wayside on you again, you'll have the tools to get it back. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is sign up for a free mini session. Go to writinginyourjammies.com. You can either hit the coaching tab on my homepage, or you can just type in writinginyourjammies.com/coaching, and that'll take you right to my little coaching page. You can read what's there and see if it sounds interesting to you. And then you can sign up for a free mini session. We can do the free mini session by the phone, or we can do it by email, whatever works for you. And then if that sounds good and we want to go forward, sign up for that wonderful writing rejuvenation project that I have, that 6-week program. If you sign up between now and Thanksgiving Day, you will receive a special holiday discount. Yay! All right. So if you're a writer and you're struggling to get words down on the page and you really, really, really want to be successful as a writer, go to writinginyourjammies.com and get started with me, okay? All right, I hope you have a wonderful day, week, month, and year. Take care. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. Go to writinginyourjammies.com to sign up for my brand new Rejuvenation for Writers 6-week comprehensive program to help writers reignite their creative sparks. You're just a free mini session away from becoming the amazing author you've always wanted to become. You really can be whoever you want to be. Thanks again.